do 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 medicine hat. Do 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 meet medicine hat. Do 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 medicine hat. Medicine hat.
My name is Amber Lowe, and I am the bass player of Crimson Hell. I think it started in 2016, and actually Trav and I were talking about starting the band, but I hadn't been playing an instrument or anything like that, and we had gone to King of Trade actually, and there was bass there, and I was like, hey, it's like $200. Why don't we just buy it and see if I'm gonna pay money to play an instrument? $200, reasonable. They had an amp there. I think I paid like $60 for the amp, so I was like, let's just buy it and see what happens. So we bought it, wrote a song, and then I was like, yeah, I think I could dig this. And then we started playing with Sean as a drummer at that point, and that was pretty awesome for a bit. And then, switched up drummers, and Drayden was in the band. We did this Saskatchewan show with him, and COVID happened. It went Benny next, and then after Benny it was Nate, and then we've had a few different Sean, Nate, Benny, Marshall, and I'm missing one. Oh, Drayden. So 5. I do usually start with, do you know what thrash is? And then they usually say, nah. And unfortunately, as much as I don't like them, I always say, have you ever heard of Metallica? And they'd be like, yeah, I've heard of Metallica. And I'm like, okay, think of Metallica, but heavier. And they're like, oh. I really like recording. I do. I like going through that process and challenging myself to see just how good and how accurate I can play it. And now I like to just see how consistent I can get myself. And it's challenging, and I really like it. Challenging parts. Well, minus the 1,000 drummers. Honestly, getting everybody prepared to play a show, I don't think anything ever prepares you enough for playing an actual show, but trying to get everybody on the same page, that's a challenge in itself. But other than that, I mean, obviously studio work is challenging because you have to be so accurate, but I thrive in the challenge. When we won the Battle of the Bands to open up for Anvil, that was pretty sweet. And watching them play, because they're legends, from the 80s and 90s, what they went through and stuff, and being able to not only open up for them, but to watch them play was, that was awesome. And then playing Loud as Hell 2019, Goat Horror was the festival headliner. That had to be a highlight of mine, especially being on a festival poster with Goat Horror was just epic in itself. Besides watching many friends play the stage, which is always nice to see. Shadow of Death, from Mexico, they're really good, obviously. I always love seeing them. All the talent that comes from Alberta, that comes and plays here. The fact that Keith gets bands like Authority Zero and Belvedere to play these festivals is mind-blowing. So it's really nice to see just how this has become over the years. It's crazy how big it's grown, and the big bands that play. It's fucking awesome. Well, I mean, it's nice to see lots of younger people showing up to the shows before, when it was held at Liquid. And props to Wendy because honestly, we needed a venue, and Liquid was always there for us no matter what. So that was awesome. But I feel since we've switched locations and have started hosting more at the Mainliner, I feel there's a lot more younger people and older people coming to shows, right? And it's really, really nice to see. There's a couple of younger people. She is a huge fan of me, super fangirl, super cute, and her boyfriend come to every show. They're really young, and it's just really nice to see. I mean, it'd be nice to motivate some of them to start a band, because it'd be nice to see more original Medicine Hat you know, bands, especially metal bands, like, and punk bands, would be nice to see more of that. There are so many cover bands, like, I mean, props to them because that's what sells and that's the bar gig, right? But it would be nice to see more original metal/punk bands in Medicine Hat, especially out of the younger generation. Would be really awesome. There's a lot of young people in Medicine Hat, and they need something to do. No, I think we pretty much just. I ramble a lot, so. I mean, other than, like, obviously check out our new EP that came out in November, like, Desert for Delusion. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much anything you can think of. It's out there, find it.
You download it on a smart fridge?
Yes. I do believe so. If you can download it. Maybe. One last thing before I would love to see more women in our music scene. Because, like, I will say, like, Medicine Hat bands, there's not, like, there's, like, Carly Francis and everything, but it'd be nice to see, like, more, like, women in, like, the punk/like, metal scene in Medicine Hat, because I will say, like, I think I'm, like, the only one in our scene that's, like, metal, in the metal/punk scene from Medicine Hat, so it'd be nice to see more of that.